because I started cursing so young, and I would curse under my breath. Even as a teenager, I would walk in my room literally cussing people out, cussing my mom out, cussing, and if it was my sister or brother, I just cussed them out. But I literally grew up with this strong, I'm talking about, people used to tell me that my tongue was so powerful that I could make somebody want to commit suicide. That's how strong my verbiage was. Imagine having strong verbiage and then cussing at the same time. Okay? Look, Samuel Jackson ain't got nothing on me. You understand? So it took me a long time, but the more and I wouldn't do it on I wasn't walking around just cussing or nothing, but it's just it was so in me to when I would get angry, sometimes a cuss word would come out. Now, this ain't every day, this ain't every week. It could be once a year, it could be once every 5 years, it could be whatever. But I hated it so bad. So one thing I had to learn was stop being angry. Control your anger. That's number one, right? So that spirit of anger that had attached itself to me, that had attacked me and attached itself to me, that made me feel hey, when I get angry, I got a right to pop off. I got a right to go in. I got a right to, that's just how I roll. And then other things that had happened in my life had seeded anger in me. The molestation, the rape, the physical abuse, the emotional abuse, the mental abuse. So many things that had happened in my childhood and growing up and being in bad relationships and domestic violence. And I'm just I'm a fighter. I'm always on one. So all of those things in my spirit, all of those things that had attacked me had now attached to me. And when they attached to me, they were so strong and they were so present and they were so real, I thought they were me. I thought, hey, I'm angry. I thought, hey, this is Kathleen. This is how I roll. This is what I do. But then as the Spirit of the Lord started checking me, I ain't going to be able to get to all these notes. As the Spirit of the Lord started checking me, He started showing me where my spirit was shifted from what He had planned for my life, right, to what the attacks did to my life. So then I had to learn to get rid of what was not for me, right, because none of that stuff was for me, because God had a plan for my life, right? So I had to get rid of the anger. I had to learn how to control my anger. In order to control your anger, you have to learn how to control your thoughts. In order to control your thoughts, you got to know that you're a spirit. Once you know that you're a spirit, then you know that you can control every thought that comes to you. If you can control your thoughts, you definitely reduce or eliminated your anger or your frustration or your whatevers. So getting back to this, it's important to know what you were born with in comparison to what stuck to you. Most humans are living the attached life where things have attached to you and you don't know how to get them off you. You don't know how to purge those things. And the Bible said purge me with hyssop. And you can read about hyssop and the strength of hyssop and all of that. Most people don't know how to purge those things out of their life. They're unable to free themselves from the things that melted in their spirit. Now I wanted to wrap this up in 30 minutes. I can tell I'm not going to finish, but let's get to a stopping point. It came in like liquid. Now, you all know Kool-Aid. If you pour some Kool-Aid powder in water, what does it do? It completely dissolves. You cannot separate the Kool-Aid from the water, okay? So, but getting back, I want to use this melting technique to show you what I'm talking about, though. Poured into you by your parents, your mentor, your teacher, your friend, the predator, the abuser. Let me find how my notes go here. Poured into you through words, beliefs, condition, diagnosis, behaviors, and actions, and unknowingly you adopted it. You adopted it. You know what it means to adopt something? It means it absolutely in no way is connected to you, right? But you want it, so you adopt it. You believe it's for you, so you adopt it. So poured into you, and you unknowingly adopted. Like I said, you grew up in the house where folks cussing, fighting, acting a fool. You just adopted it. You grew up in a community where they shoot each other, do whatever. You just adopted it. You grew up in the house where your daddy slapped your mama fight back, she might not fight back. You just adopted it. You just was like, hey, Now you grown and you slapping your girlfriend or your wife. You're like, where did this come from? It was a spiritual shift. But you can get rid of it. So, victim of circumstance, a victim, attack. But then after a while, that thing solidifies. It was stirring in your spirit. You wrestle with it because we all have that thing where we go like, that's not right or that's not good and I shouldn't be doing that. We all have that. We all have a yes and no button that's in us. We have a yes and no button. I tell the students at school, there's no sense in you looking back at me before you do something. That lets you know you're getting ready to do something you're not supposed to do. But every time the student will be like looking back to see, am I looking at them because they're getting ready to do something inappropriate? So it's the same thing with us, whether you're a kid or an adult. There's a check in you that lets you know what I'm doing or saying or the way I'm behaving is not correct. You wrestle with it, and at some point you had to agree, and then it takes up residential space in your spirit, which is the controller of your mind. Remember, I just got through going over your mind, how you can control your mind, your thoughts, then you can control your behaviors, your anger, whether or not you even become angry and all that good stuff. You can control your mind, your body, and your soul. Attacked becomes attached. And we don't want attacked to become attached, okay? And now you're living with it. It's become a part of you so much until you think it is you, but it is the melting, the mixing in. I really want to use this melting to show you something. So just kind of keep that in mind. The process of the introduction, the victimizing, the drafting you in. Had you known what I'm telling you today, had you known at 10 what was happening to you, like you know at 45, 25, 17, you would have stopped the melting. So what is the melting? The adoption process. How had you known, you would have rejected it because something gets into your spirit you think is yours. You think this is me and I am it, but oftentimes it's not. And we can tell because it does not look like our original design. It does not look like the God seed. It's not beneficial to us. So I'm asking you, how many of you have had a melting where that thing attacked you, and then attached to you? So let me explain what melting is. Melting is a technique used by stylists who install wigs or units. And we all see wigs. They call them lace fronts. What they do is they melt. It's a technique of gluing and taping down, not taping down, but gluing and adhesing and meshing the skin tone, the scalp, and everything with the front part of the wig to the point where the front part of the wig actually looks like your scalp. It's a technique they use. You see it all the time on all these celebrities, and now everyday people wear it, where they've melted, they've made that hair bond to your head to the point where it looks like yours. And some of you have adopted these spirits that were so wrong, that were spiritual shifts. You've adopted them, and they look like yours. It looked like that's what your family do. It looked like that's what they do in your community. But what you really experience is a melting, okay? It's engrafted in there so perfectly until you think it's who you are. You identify with it. So it looks like the client's real hairline and all. They use a technique called melting where they use glue and they layer it and they tint it to look just like your scalp. They apply the wig. They make sure it fits. They cover you from ear to ear, melting, making it become a part of you. And of course, men wear wigs too, right? You can't tell it's a hairpiece. So I think that's all of that. So we might be able to finish. Let's see what I got here. So some of the evil in some of your lives has been there so long. You wear it so well. You've been doing it for so long. You forget it's not yours. Oh, the amount of people I talk to who have been through something, who have experienced something traumatic. The amount of people who grew up in these dysfunctional homes And you've been doing it so long until you absolutely think it's you. You are bought, sold, ticket down. This is who I am. This is what we do. This is how my clan rolls, however you want to say it. You forgot it's not even yours. I mean, it's just attached to you. We forget it's just attached to us. Some point, somewhere in our life, it was introduced to us and it attached itself to us. We forget that. We don't think about that. We don't have a conscious mind. We've never been taught that. So what I want you to say right now is, when you think about the things that have attached itself to you after the attack, when you think about the things you adopted just because you grew up in the house with these people, and we don't put down our people, we become the leader, or we take on the new identity, and then we help guide them into the tribe, right? We don't diss our people. We don't fall out with our family. We just do better. We improve, and we go back and we try to save them or rescue them or guide them into this new life that we have. That's the bottom line, right? I see spiders. Go, go, go. I'm out here in the look. So you're going to see spiders. So what I want you to say is, it's not mine. Everything you can identify, everything that you can identify with that is not productive, everything that you can identify with that is false teaching, meaning it is not going to get you any benefit, it's not going to get you any good result, I want you to say, it is not mine. Everything, look, that was introduced to you, you were introduced to sex at 9 years old. You were introduced to drinking at 9 years old, 10 years old. You were introduced to lying, and people let you get away with it for years. You were introduced to fighting. You were introduced to poor business management, how to scam people. Whatever it is that attached to you, that attacked you, that got in your spirit, it's not yours. It's okay for you to say, this is not mine. It's not mine. I don't want it. You need to get rid of it. It's my mama's mean spirit. It's not mine. It's my dad's manipulative spirit to lay with multiple women, unable to be a husband and love a wife. Some of you are unable to get married and have a loving family. Why? Because you came from such strong dysfunction and you believe everything you're doing is okay. Why? Because your life wasn't about nothing. Your aunties, your uncles, they ain't living about nothing. So you're thinking, hey, I'm okay. I'm doing better than them. At least I see my kids. Guess what? It's not yours. You should say, it's not mine. It's the man who touched me inappropriately spirit on me, causing me to speak, to operate like he did against me. Again, it's not yours. You need to say, it's not mine. It's my cousin kissing me. You need to say, it's not mine. It's my dad arguing and provoking me. Again, these things that have attacked you are not yours. Oh my God, can I get you to see that? It is not yours. It is wrong. It is crazy. It is off. It is dysfunctional. It is not yours. You picked it up somewhere. Someone showed it to you. Someone introduced it to you. Now you're operating in it, but it's not yours. You got to loose yourself from that stuff. It's the melting. Remember the melting where they make the hair look like it's yours and you think it's yours? I'm cool with a good wig and a good melting now. Don't get me wrong. But it's not yours. It's the melting. It's the melting. It's the melting. It melted into you. And so your seed, and so think about it. If you adopted it and it's a part of you, now your seed is adopting it. So I can talk about me, right? So my mom and dad had a dysfunctional relationship. They got a divorce. And then one child had a kid and another child had a kid. We all ended up having kids. None of us married. Then our kids got grown. They did the same thing. They had kids, none of them married. Well, some of them were married. But the level of dysfunction, it could happen in my family. It could happen in your family. You could be sitting right in church and it could be happening in your family. And we've adopted it, right? Look, they have more baby showers, don't they? They have more baby showers than they do weddings. We know that. They having more gender reveals than they are wedding showers. Why? We have adopted it. I'm drinking some coffee. And I'm trying to finish this. It's the melting. You like your father, who was like his father, who is like his father, nobody married, no strong black families, no business, no college degrees, no happiness, no peace, just the melting. Things that got into your spirit, and now you think they're yours. You keep living with it, you keep holding on to it. You are now, and now you're transferring it to your children. But wait, the thing about it is, the message that God is saying to us is, we can remove the melting. You know, even though that wig that those women put on, and they put that lace front on, and they glue it on there real good, let me tell you something. I wear wigs. I can tell you right now, when you put a wig on, there are wigs that look like the style you used to wear when you had hair and could do all that stuff with your hair, or wanted to do that stuff with your hair. Then there are wigs you put on, honey. I put on a blonde wig. When I tell you I was feeling myself, I was feeling myself. That blonde wig gave me life. You understand? And for that night, I had that purple dress on, and I had my silver accessories on. You couldn't tell me nothing. I posted some pictures. So you identify with that thing, with that person, with that being. But guess what? It's not you. And you can remove it. Just like people think, oh, I've been doing this for 20 years. Okay, stop doing it. You got probably 20 more, 30, 50 years left. So stop doing it. So whatever has attacked you and attached to you, guys, you can remove it. Just like they can get that stuff and spray it on that wig, and as much as they taped it down and made it look like your real hair, you can remove it. And it can be and God can eliminate the false IDs. We have a lot of false IDs. I hate to see people that are like gangsters and all this stupid stuff. Call me Lil Sean. Boy, your name is Isaiah. We get all these false IDs and we think it's us. He can bring you out, and you don't have to curse anybody out. You can choose ye this day who you're going to serve. Will you live to the benefit of the person or the thing that victimized you? Or will you recognize you are entitled to live your best life? And I cannot stress that enough. Some of this stuff has attacked us and attached itself to us so strongly, we're not able to live our best life. We're not able to have the family and the home that we dreamed of. We're not able to have the business that we dreamed of. We're not able to see our children turn 18, graduate from college, graduate from high school, because they're dead somewhere out there in the streets, because we've adopted all of these false identities. We've lived these lives, have nothing to do with our original or God plan. But you are entitled to live your best life. You don't have to get up in the morning cussing people out, throwing stuff. You don't have to get up in the morning with a bad attitude. You don't have to go to your job, feeling some type of way. You really can, excuse me, manage and control your life. You can really get out and be loose from everything that has attached to you. So before this melting, before these things were introduced to you and adopted in your spirit, before the attachment, if you can identify those things, then you can say, it's not mine. So I want you to say, it's not mine. I know where you got that from, your mama. But I can't, you got it from your mama, but you got to say, I can't let that melt on me. Okay, I release the attachment. I rebuke the attack. Say that I rebuke the attack. That's what I want you to say. I'm entitled to my life without attachments that the devil or people through the devil brought to me. See, a lot of us think we got to live with it. A lot of us think we got to live with the hurt and the pain. And I've been physically abused, domestically abused, sexually abused, raped, molested. I've been so many things, talked down to, put down, criticized, whatever, you name it. At the same time, I have to admit, I've had people speak into my spirit, people who did tell me, even though I had a child when I was young, through no actions of my own, but that was the situation. And I literally had people tell me, stay in school, stay focused, you can do it, right? So you're going to have these things out there that are trying to attach itself to your life and be spiritual shifters that are ungodly and are bad. At the same time, you're going to have those things that are trying to attach to your life and be spiritual shifters that are of God, that are good for you. And so you are entitled